We are live. Welcome to the program. My goodness gracious, it is good to be back talking Baselworld 2025 predictions today. And we have got a very, very special guest. Let's see. Jason is the host of the WatchRolling podcast, website, YouTube channel, and founder of WatchRolling.com. And his focus is on horology while sharing valuable resources with the watch enthusiast community. He's a 20-year Navy veteran with a penchant for no-date watches and bracelets, even during summer. A father, a husband, and I'm proud to say my friend. Let us welcome him to the stage. Welcome, my brother.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Doing fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah, doing fabulous. I'm going to start the music. I forgot to launch my music. Got a little music.
Oh, nice.
Little music in the background.
This has got like I don't know, like Las Vegas.
Yeah. My buddy, Franklin, is the channel composer. He composed this. He's a genius. I basically describe him as if Mozart did music and other stuff, that's my buddy Franklin.
Oh,
so we got a big show today, my friend. Yeah. So excited to have you on. Let's see.
I'm excited to be on. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we in case anyone didn't catch some of the district time footage, Jason and I became buddies pretty much off the bat. We met at the TGV Urban Gentry Vertex after party of Wind Up in the fall. Mm-hmm. And I kind of randomly went to district time on a on a Friday, just 2 hours after learning that it was happening. And then I think I chatted you on Insta or something. You're like, yeah, I'm going. So I'm like, so awesome. We shot some footage there, and
it was a good show.
Yeah, it was a great show. Had a good bit of fun, and you'd be surprised how many people have been asking me, D, are you jumping in the DeLorean talking about Baselworld? So I think our first prediction for Baselworld isn't going to be one, but we'll get into that when we put some images up on stage in a moment. Yes. You were doing some dog adoption today, or yesterday rather, yeah?
Oh yeah, we adopted a 4-year-old Shiba. Now we have a Shiba already, and we've had him for 7 years. But she had been abandoned somewhere, and she had been, I guess, like roaming the streets for a while. And then she had been in a city shelter, and after 10 days, they euthanized the dog. And so the group that had her for the last month went in there and got her for the 10 days.
Oh, wow.
And a family friend was like, look at this dog. It's like your dog. And then my wife fell in love with her, and that was pretty much it. But we had to take our Shiba there and basically get them to meet each other to make sure it would work. Because they're a little bit of a different dog breed. They're not super personal, like labs are super personable.
Yeah.
Shibas can be a little standoffish, but they took to each other pretty quickly, and they've been getting along pretty well for the last 24, 36 hours. So it's been good so far.
No,
she's cute.
You did save her, so that's in her favor to behave well, right?
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised what turkey does too for a dog. I mean, it'll work with me too. If you want to earn loyalty from me, just give me some turkey. I'm like, sweet. I'm there for it. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's too funny, brother.
Yeah, wait till they see my one prediction.
Yeah, I can't wait. Let me put you on center stage. Let's dig on that watch you're wearing today, brother. What you got?
On the wrist today, I have the PAM 0177 titanium Unitas movement. My first Panerai.
Is that 44 millimeters?
Yep, 44.
Okay.
For those of you at home, I have a 7 5/8 inch wrist. So.
Yeah, you got a man's wrist. I have a Hello Kitty wrist, according to Kurt.
Oh, nice. Well, talk about.
His big wrist energy is my buddy. I am wearing the FXD, LHD, MOD, ID, and Friends. The easiest mod you can do to a watch. This is the FXD. Started its life regular, but then after seeing I saw the original review on Adrian Barker's channel of it, where he showed a picture of the military version for the divers, the French naval divers. And I could tell that they're basically they're swapping the dial around, right? As long as the footers of the dial are mirrored, you can do it with basically anytime only watch. I tried doing it with the Tudor Pelagos 39, did not work. It's no date, but the footers are not mirrored. I'd have to take the I would have had to have cut a footer off of the dial. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't that obsessed with it. But I want to talk a little bit about my motivation for wanting to have you on the program, because I think your stuff is awesome. I'm still making my way through your back catalog.
Oh, thank you.
But I wanted to, and Jason doesn't know this is happening, but I like to celebrate my buddies for doing great work. So this is the landing page for his YouTube, WatchRolling. It is already in the description, so check him out, give him a sub. You're going to enjoy it. And this is a collection of episodes that I kind of binged over the past week and a half that just shook me to my core and like put an uncomfortable light on me and my collecting in a good way. I started with the disease of more. I think I usually click on thumbnails that make me laugh a little bit. And that's kind of a funny face you're making there, but what a great episode. Yeah. And then, you know, you put it as curating versus collecting, which that was a slap upside my coconut, because I'm not curating, brother. So I'm definitely excited to share these episodes with the viewership. Epically good stuff.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, just really great stuff. I see you're going far, so I wanted to grab onto your coattails and see if you can't drag me along with you.
I'm small time, baby. I'm small potatoes.
The production value is immense. You're get ready for stardom, big dog. Get ready for stardom. Did you personally see all of the footage from what I shot at District Time by chance? Did you see
I saw some of the stuff. I saw the show. You want to talk about big time? I'm putting my mood lighting back up here because I forgot to earlier. But that's how you know you're big time. You're like, oh man, I forgot my mood lighting. Let me put it on.
Really. Yeah, I got my mood lighting.
It's the mood lighting works a lot. For those of you at home who are interested in starting a podcast, it works a lot better at nighttime. My house faces east, so right now the sun's getting kind of high and starting to fade, so it's kind of bright here naturally, but never quite bright enough to make it look nice. But I saw a lot of your footage, man. I thought it was good, and I really like your interviews. I like that I feel like you really honor and respect the brand owners' times too, because you're pretty clear and concise, and you kind of, I would say like not harangue them, but you like kind of rustle them into a good spot. You let them get their 2 cents out, let them talk about their brand, and then you let them get back to selling watches. So I think that's the one thing I've had a hardest problem with when I go to these shows is, like guys like Mike or whatever, I'll say hi or, but I know there's a million people there to see them. I mean, a million. And I don't want to eat that time up, especially from the people that either paid for the early time or, maybe have their own stuff, So I try to keep, I really like that about your interview style.
I like that too, because, and you're absolutely right, that usually the hour beforehand is reserved for PR, whereas this show for District Time, to dovetail what you said, was if you're a member of the public, you could pay and also get that early access, which is why I was running around that first hour. But in that vein, I did get to interview Mark from Long Island Watches, and he had a great episode you want to check out, brother, because he was talking about the show and the cost breakdown of what you need to be able to present there and how many watches you sell. And there's even a snapshot of me interviewing him in the middle of of his episode. I'm sitting on my couch, eating popcorn, watching his channel. I was like, oh, there I am on the TV.
My favorite part about that whole thing was I was watching, my wife was sitting next to me, and I already showed her who you were before, but I was like, see, he wears a sport coat. It's fancy, man. He likes it. He's professional. He's there to do business. She's like, it looks nice.
I bought that coat because it has green, black, and gray, like channel colors in it. So shout out to Matt Schaefer.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
So he's going to be heading over he's going to be rolling with you soon. But the other reason I wanted to bring up District Time is I was going back through some of the footage, and I don't know if you were aware, but there was someone working a booth, one of the watch people, who was wearing a shirt that has a logo that is like, it looks exactly like yours. You may need to have some words with this guy. But the Stella guy. They're always trying to steal my stuff, man. Stella. I'm just kidding. I photoshopped that.
I know. I'm just playing. I know.
But you know what? I think this is the year for some merch. And this actually is, I put this together. Not a sponsored video, but if Printify.com wants to sponsor me, by all means. It's print on demand, super duper affordable. No one's buying any of my merch. I've got, look, if anyone wants to support the channel, Porsche Design shirts. This is a custom Hobby of Ours thing. Also, the watch book available, hobbyofhours.com. But it was unusually good, unusually affordable, and high quality stuff. So I would totally bomb around in a WatchRolling t-shirt, my brother.
Oh,
so,
nice. Thanks.
Something to consider.
I want to say a special shout out. He's probably not watching, but there's a young man named Destin out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he's on Instagram at Desto Tunes and Desto Art. Young guy. He's got to be in his 20s. And he's the one that designed my logo. I worked with him. I paid him. And I have my WatchRolling logo that you saw. It looks like a car emblem. And then my basically my dial version, which is the WR. And he's also, if you see my Instagram, there's a cartoon version of me. He did that as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I connect him with me because I admired that on your Instagram. Okay. And I want to get one done for me because I think that's cool.
Yeah. I'll share his profile with you and let him know that you're coming. He's a great dude, man. He's super talented. And just really, it's funny because he has some videos on his Instagram of him surprising people when he's doing caricatures. And you know, sometimes you see people, I think you could be too good of a caricature artist and by too good, I mean you capture like real things of people. And sometimes they have a look of anger on his face, but I think he's a great artist who just captures like the, we already know this about us kind of thing that's funny. And so it's never going to make the person that's being drawn mad because everyone's always smiling and laughing when they see his caricatures. I think you want to mute, bro. I think you're muted, Darren.
Oh, heavens to Betsy, I'm muted. I was saying, sorry. I'm personally not comfortable. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm personally not comfortable with the size of my nose. And anytime I was on vacation at the boardwalk when caricatures come out, it was always like, can't you get me a better nose? I mean, please, I'm paying you $15.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Frank's on. Hellos. We got Frank's on.
Thanks for coming in, Frank. Nice to see you pop up in the chat. Shout out Gray Native.
Right up. All right, here we go. All right, so switching gears, getting to Baselworld 2025 predictions. And we already kind of hinted that our first prediction is that Baselworld isn't going to happen, which is a shame. The Salon International de la Haute Horlogerie, SIHH, rebranded to Watches and Wonders Geneva in 2020, allowing for a broader, more experiential approach to showcasing. Okay, whatever, SIHH. SIHH was always the smaller show to Basel, but Basel did not pivot with the pandemic. SIHH did, and their 2020 show, their first show was virtual, but then now there's no more Basel. So I think Bill Basel is somewhere in his mother's basement trying to make a comeback, and Rolex was always the big one at either of those shows, and then Omega didn't want to present because Rolex's booth was bigger or some nonsense. Do you remember any of that?
So yeah, I remember hearing about it because 2019 is about the time I started really getting into watches, and so right then COVID popped off, so I had plenty of time. I was still painting Warhammer figures back then, so if anyone's interested, I used to paint Warhammer 40K stuff. I love it.
Oh,
I think the war's great. I probably should start painting watch dials, like doing hand painting. Anyways, I remember hearing about it, and I thought, oh man, that seems kind of petty. Like you don't want to participate because someone's booth's bigger. Like I want to know, was it like unarguably bigger? Like when you walked up, was the average person saying, "Man, I can't believe Omega's booth is so small," or did someone get like a measuring tape out and like, "Hey boss, we're 1 inch smaller than Rolex. This is ridiculous."
It wasn't folding tables, I'll tell you that. I think it's like $10-20 million to build that out. And I'm an Omega fanboy through and through, love it. But they are on my do-do list right now for a handful of reasons, chiefly around servicing costs. I'm going to save that for a different time because I'm still working it out with them. But I do see a rant coming down the river But I've heard I have some AD buddies who stopped carrying Omega because of their behavior. So if we go back 40, 60 years, Omega used to be Rolex. Omega used to be that brand, but I digress. All right, so there isn't going to be a Baselworld. This is more or less an April Fool's Day hint, but it was prompted by the AI thumbnail idea generator in my YouTube studio, which I don't need help coming up with episode ideas. I don't know if you do. Some people struggle with, like, you'll see some content creators be in the middle of their episode being like, oh, write in the comments what you'd like to see me make as an idea. And that's just not me. But
I think that's cool, but I also feel like at a certain point, if your channel takes off, you owe some of your viewers some money. You know what I mean? Like, is your idea intellectual property? And if I give it to a content creator and they make $1 million, like, what's my cut?
Yeah. That's a slippery slope, if not a sticky one. This wacky watch, the problem with AI generated images is obviously the letters. And when it comes to watches, they love to put in extra pushers. I used AI in the creation of this book, had a ton of fun, but there was also a ton of rejects. But if a watchmaker could make the metallurgical hoop, jump through the metallurgical hoop to produce a rainbow steel gradient, good luck. So that was one idea.
Bro, can we go back to your slide though real quick?
Yeah.
So number one, I'd buy that watch. Number two, I think that if you had been the original designer of the T800 or T1000, whichever one that is, that robot from Terminator, I think if you had came up with that design first before the original one, the movies would be 10 times scarier than they actually are.
Isn't it
that
creepy?
Is the scare. When my wife saw that picture, she's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Yeah, right." Imagine if that thing's coming after you with a smile on his face, like a digital smile. He's like, "Hey,
you know what? Our boy Elon is trying to get a robot in every home. We'll see if he succeeds."
No comment.
But that was one idea. Here was the next one, and I actually like this. This, we have Annie Digi, right? So why can't we have true Annie Smart, where the screen is thin enough that it can, put up your text messages or whatever, but the digital portion, the smartphone portion, is just in the dial, and it's thin enough that a real movement, probably manual wind to be fair, will be behind it, and I could have the ocean on it. I would totally buy that one in the middle. I would absolutely.
Yeah, I'd have the space one if it was like the old screensavers of back like Windows 5.
Oh, right on. Yeah, like
where you're sailing through space.
And it's moving. I didn't even think about moving. Yeah, no, that's even better. I love it. We're gonna patent pending. And then the last one, I'd have that one on the right. It's a stone dial and a stone bezel. And that's an image I like. AI loves to put multiple pushers on a watch for some reason. I can't rightly say.
Yeah, maybe they're concerned that we don't have enough complications. Anyways.
Yeah, it could be. All right, so a significant portion of this presentation, I want to give proper credit where it's due to ID Guy. That is atop, that's his banner, his landing page, probably one of my favorite YouTube channels. He's up there, and he's an industrial designer in his day-to-day life, which means his art renderings, photoshopping is immaculate. So that's him on the left. I want to give credit. And you're going to see his logo and face all over his stuff, because wait till you see what this guy can do. But what's on the right is the poor resolution leaks that come out within the past 2 weeks. I would give credit to whomever I could if I knew who put that out. It was probably someone on Instagram as first. I just don't know. Apologies to that individual. But these are the leaks. I thought we might be able to go through them, get some of your opinions. I have some opinions myself. And like I said, ID Guy, what he did is he took this basic image and he drafted up proper renderings of it. First one on the left, gold Daytona on Oysterflex with a Tiffany bluish aquamarine dial. What are your thoughts, sir? You have the wrist to pull off some heavy bling bling.
Not for me. I think the colors vary a couple of years ago. But I mean, Rolex puts out a Daytona. I don't care what they put on the dial. They could have put that stone dial, and someone's going to buy it. Because people that love Daytonas, and I feel like it's anything else. Like it kind of comes down to cars, right? There's, the four different, versions of a model. Probably usually from a lower tier to a higher tier, and then there's always like a one-off that's in collaboration with, a tuning company or an overall drive company that does stuff like shocks or suspension or something like that. And then those are, highly more sought out. And then a lot of people that have cars, they move their way up, and then they get to that one they want eventually. That's pretty snazzy. So, I mean, is it for me? No. Would people buy it? Yes.
Well, but I wouldn't have it. This one, I'll tell you, this is a left-hand drive Sprite just with the green dial. I could picture the Daytona getting made. They're not going to do this to the Sprite. I'm going to cover the Sprite in a few slides from now, but I can't picture them doing anything like that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
This one, I'm surprised this one doesn't exist already. A green dial, all gold Sky Dweller.
Yeah.
I almost would have to check the back catalog because this should exist. If it doesn't, it's beautiful. But
yeah, if I owned a company that may or may not have sold things or sells things to people that may or may not sell things to, I'd probably have that watch. But I have a pretty straight up job, so I don't.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. And then lastly is the Land Dweller. I just wanted to put it up here. I've got a bigger slide of it because I really want to get into it. I think this is probably the most interesting, if not but ugly.
Yeah, I got to
watch.
This watch.
Let me get to that slide. So here we are. You can see it on the right. First of all, ID guys renderings are epically beautiful. I'm not talking about what he did with Photoshop. I'm talking about the watch, which was in the leak, which is other channels have been covering this. I love doing this episode every year. I love watching ID guys episode about it every year because he's brilliant. I love chit-chatting about it from my perspective. This is a horribly ugly watch. The oyster quartz case and bracelet, the dial. I forget what that. I'm sorry, the fluted bezel. I forget what that dial. It's not tapestry. Is it tapestry?
It's not a linen dial either.
Yeah, no. There's a name where I ought to have looked it up, but So the big contention around this. Did indeed file the patent or trademark for Land Dweller, which makes sense. Looking at the far left, there's the Seiko Land Master, and
those are pretty cool watches.
Yeah, those are great. But a Land Dweller, it should be the next stage of an Explorer 2. The Cave Dweller. I think that if they're going to do something with Land Dweller, it's not going to be a modified date just. It's just not. No. It's going to be an Explorer 3.
Yeah. My problem with this watch is, it's probably not going to come to fruition, but I understand the name. But if you're trying to align it with the Sea Dweller and, anything else,
Sky Dweller,
right? In the Sky Dweller, while it's fancy, there's nothing on it that looks like, if I was in a plane a long time ago trying to fly long distances, I wouldn't be able to use this watch. Everything about it looks functional. Nicer materials, obviously built up and engineered to a high level. But this thing here is like no one's dwelling any. You might actually dwell on land, but you're not going out doing anything.
You're dwelling.
It's not legible. It's too bright. It's too shiny. It would attract too much attention in the wrong way.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't think the overall idea is bad, as far as but it reeks of Tudor Royale to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Good call.
And I don't think Rolex would ever do it. I don't think they would ever do that. Someone in the meeting would be like, "Hey, this looks like the little sibling of a Tudor Royale." Then they throw that person out the window like the meme.
Yeah, no, it's no good. Shout out to Trap. We also ran in to each other in DC. It was great to see you there, big man. And I got my buddy Lone Wolf McQuaid, 81. Nice. Yeah, an Explorer 3, that would be earth shocking. You heard it here first on the Hobby of Hours show. But getting on, I got to get through some of this stuff. This is a simple one. This is an image from somewhere else. Someone has already predicted this as this is a malachite. this would be gorge. So seeing the 1908 show up in like some special dial variants, I think is certainly palatable. This thing would be beautiful. I don't know whose render this is.
The green and gold, you can never go wrong. Green and gold, you know, on the color, if you're doing color theory, you can never go wrong with green and gold.
So that is the professionally done rendering. Shout out to ID Guy, giving him credit for his work. This is some of my work coming next. Basically, I'm copy pasting my predictions from last year. So last year is when I predicted a blueberry GMT. This year, everyone else is jumping on, but they're talking about it in platinum, which isn't something I conceived of. It is the anniversary for it. So a platinum GMT would be rad. And I photoshopped a Steinhardt bezel onto what we're seeing here. So that's where I got that bezel image from. I think that would be epic. But what I'm really hoping for is this one. This is my Hulk GMT rendering from last year. I'm just going to keep repeating these until Rolex does them because they're solid ideas. An all green GMT would be gorge. Absolutely gorgeous. Any thoughts on that, sir?
I think it's nice, understated. As understated as a Rolex GMT can be.
Well, I mean,
I'd be interested to see it without the Cyclops.
You're going to see it without a Cyclops in a minute.
Nice.
Additionally, that is the Steinhardt bezel. They make a great watch. I've been predicting the white Rolex for years. I am not the first person to do so, but I am the first person to prove that Rolex has done it in the 5-digit line. This is a Japanese magazine book from 1998. Hollaback. I am the only one with photographic evidence that they did the come on, where you at? 14270 in white.
Yeah.
Now they release special editions of watches just in Japan, I think maybe to test the market. But here it is.
Yeah.
Hobby of Ours has proven that this was a real deal back in the day.
You're like Walter Cronkite if he was an investigative journalist.
I buy watch books, and I found that in there, and I almost fell off my chair.
Yeah.
So a white Explorer, proven, valid by Hobby of Ours.
Yeah. So you know what I would like to see with this white dial Explorer?
Go ahead.
Arkin just released they're doing that thing where if you're an Arkin member, part of like whatever the crew is, they have like a buyers club or owners club, and now they're doing these basically special editions where I think they're called speakeasy. This one was called a speakeasy. So you have to show up to the meet or the event and you have to, buy the watch there. But I've been going on and on to people for years about why don't they have white dial watches? Because legibility is a thing, especially when you get older.
Yeah.
And, retired military guy like me, I want to be able to read my watch when I look at it. Like, there's nothing more annoying than not being able to read your watch. But I've always said, there is black loom out there. There's black loom. So why don't you do a white dial with black loomed indices, right? Black numerals, and put the black loom inside of the hour and minute hand. Then you would instantly have your contrast that you need, right? Yeah. And then with the right crystal, you can see sideways or whatever, and I think that white Explorer with black indices and black numerals, man, I'd timeshare that watch with people. Like, let's go in 4 of us on a timeshare, we each get a quarter.
Well, for that man's wrist, you're going to need it in 39, sir.
Man, I got 36 speedy reduced back here. I wear.
Oh, you do? Which reduced do you have?
It's from 1990, 1989.
Is it one of the original style reduced?
Yeah, white dial, gold subdials.
Oh, okay. I want to see that later, brother. Shout out to Trap. He's predicting titanium Milgauss. I don't think the Milgauss is coming back. Yeah. We're going to have some fun with metallurgy in a hot minute. Let's see what else we got in here. It
won't be the Milgauss. It'll be some other weird number before Gauss. They just need to up their Gauss.
They need to double their Gauss. Yeah. Here is a rendering. I'm predicting. Those are last year's predictions. I'm pulling. I am watch rolling those forward to this year. But this is something new I'm predicting. This is, I want to see the Daytona Le Mans edition in titanium, minus the goofy Paul Newman subdials. I can't stand the Paul Newman subdials. but this is basically, I photoshopped the white gold watch bezel and pushers onto the Yachtmaster imagery.
Yeah.
Because
that's beautiful.
Wouldn't that be great?
I love that.
I would love, here's the thing. The Le Mans is the one I want to own because I love the 24-hour register at 9 o'clock. I am not, even if I could get it at list 51K, I don't watch roll that heavy. So that's not in my price band. But in titanium,
yeah,
for 15K,
my eyes are going. Which is the second subdial? Is it the 3 o'clock?
Let me see here. No, seconds is at 6.
Seconds at 6.
30-minute totalizer at 3, and 24 hours totalizing at 9.
And then what's the red font on the bezel down at 7?
That is to signify the 100-year anniversary of Le Mans.
Bro, if you took the 3 o'clock subdial and made that hand red, that watch isn't, bro. I mean, you could do all 3 of the subdial hands, but I think you probably want the second one maybe because you're actually timing stuff. But like that little pop of red, and if that dial's a sunburst, yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, that's a really nice.
Yeah,
you're on something there, man.
Gotta get rid of that goofy font though. Frank has a question. Yes, this was not an OP. This is Explorer, and it is literally, it's a 14270 reference, sir. So it's a 14270 with a white dial. Now, for all I know, the Japanese kanji next to it could say, here's what we would love Rolex to make in 98, but I can't read kanji. And then one more comment. We got Lone Wolf, white dial Explorer 1 with black DLC coated case and bracelet. Dude, that could also be on a short list for purchase. Good stuff. So transitioning briefly to cancel culture, I think that it's time the Air King gets put to bed. It's in the Milgauss case. We no longer need to keep making that. I think they're going to let go of Sprite sooner or later. It's totally okay to do it. I have one now, so it's safe. And then the puzzle dial, I think this was neat, but it's time for it to go. Yeah. Any thoughts?
Can I give you a hot take real quick? Yeah, take on the
middle. Lay it down.
Hot take on the middle piece. So those of you that don't know me, I played sports growing up, and I'm a big uniform guy, right, in the Navy, and just love uniforms, right? Like, just love uniforms in general, sports. And the one thing I've always can't stand, the one thing, and it each their own, but a thing I could never do is if I owned a sports team, and let's just say I was the Jets and I had Kelly Green, right, or I was the Eagles and I had their green, or anyone that has like really cool colors, like the Chargers or anyone else. I cannot stand when a team arbitrarily throws black into their color scheme, and then now their uniforms are like green, white, and black, or red, gold, and black, or like the Knicks, have great uniforms, and they just throw black in there for no reason. And to me, it's like the laziest design thing you can do is just to throw some black in there. So every time I see like these, like that version or the Batman, or I can't do it, because to me it's like, black and white are absence of colors and blah, 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 and the color spectrum. But it's just like, it's like, well, they thought for 5 minutes and put some green in there, and let's just throw some black in there and everybody will be happy. I mean, there's so many other colors you could do with that green to really make that green pop. And
what would you put in place of the black to make it pop? What's its complementary?
I mean, I think if you had used a metal top for the top part of the bezel, and then reversed and made the numbers green that match the bezel. I mean, I understand it's about contrast, be able to see, but let's be honest about it. You're not seeing that green at night. You're not seeing it. In the dark, you ain't seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, like, now I understand the black dial makes sense, right? And that's something I've gotten over, because I feel like if you want the most contrasty dial, even in the dark without so much lumen, you can see, white or silver hands and indices against a black dial. Easy day. Yeah. But all right. Yeah, just black for black's sakes bother me. And I like the one on the right. I think the one on the right's total fun. Like, if you got the kind of money to go out and buy a jigsaw puzzle, I heart you emoji watch, by all means go do it.
I love the idea of it. I just don't think it's going to stick around. And I think the celebration dial is also going. I just don't think I don't think they're sticking around.
Yeah.
So quick transition to Tudor, because we've got a lot to cover today, and Jason is going to take the second half of the show with his observations around why we get the same old crap and not the cool stuff out of Rolex. But we saw this gold Tudor Prince date, big block style chronograph pop up at Only Watch. I think there's a lot of speculation around the fact that they're probably going to do something with this. On the left is a big block version from they made them in 70s, 80s, 90s ish. But on the right is the Prince date, the Tiger version, which was partnership with Tiger Woods. This is probably the most banal version, I shouldn't say that. It's probably the nicest version, because usually these Tigers have the word Tiger in red, and it's kind of rare, off-putting.
Yeah. I always wish that one of your pushers would initiate an audible that did Tiger from like Street Fighter. It's like Tiger, Tiger, and you're just like, people are getting upset at you and they don't know where it's coming from. I mean, wouldn't that be great?
You know what? If we did it in quartz, you know what, dude, we need to start a watch company. We've already got 4 or 5 great designs.
No, people would be throwing tomatoes at us every time we
pretty much. I think Trap was hollering back to the aluminum. Yeah. Ceramic is on the chopping block. Even Omega's going back to aluminum.
To what Trap said, I had a 2500 Planet Ocean. I love that watch. The only reason I got rid of it is because I can find another one if I want it.
Yeah.
And it helped me fund something else that's pretty special. But
sweet.
That anodized aluminum bezel insert on that 2500 Planet Ocean was, very much a part of the equation of my love of that watch.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something about just the form of an aluminum bezel tells you, like, I shouldn't be babying this watch. Let's just go out, because like the cuts and scratches on it are mine. When I wear it and I do stuff, those are mine. You know what I mean? And I think it's just and honestly, like it's not as precious as a sapphire insert. Those feel precious to me. Like, oh, look at this little sapphire insert. I need to rock it to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, and my aluminum bezel, I'm like, I want to punch my aluminum bezel in the face. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm guilty. Talking about car culture, I definitely have garage queens, like watches I only wear around the house. I'm embarrassed to admit it. That's why I'm being held accountable by the community, the watch community. But you are correct. I'm the nutter in that case. This is shout out Ricardo. This is a snippet of footage when we went up to New York a couple trips ago. But Cartier crushed it last year for me personally. I absolutely loved everything they did design-wise. So I wanted to make some quick Cartier predictions. This is their Platinum Rewind. If no one is familiar with this watch goes backwards. The numerals are reversed. It actually travels backwards counterclockwise to count the time. Okay, silly. Okay, maybe poetic. Okay, maybe it's a statement. 200 pieces in platinum, mid 40 G's. I tried to see if I could get one. I was told, no, dude, you're not going to get one. Not that I could afford it, but I was curious. I figured I would buy it, take some money out of savings, buy it, and flip it in 2 years for 200 grand, because I'm sure that's what these are going to go for. But. Oh.
I read that, but I laughed at. I know
hold it to the mirror.
I didn't want to interrupt you, because I actually laughed when I read it.
Yeah. No, you can interrupt me all the time. We're watch bros.
It was hilarious. I was like, Rich, you got a chuckle out of me. Yeah.
I think that movement, okay, it was just a regearing, or maybe it was a flip of something. But, okay, 200 red and platinum are gone. They're not going to release it in red again because those customers would be upset. I think they're going to do something with that movement. I would unequivocally buy it if it was in stainless. I'm not buying a precious metal Cartier at least. I love the green. I would probably go for something traditional like the black on the right.
Yeah. You know what I like about this is a not so poor person's version of the moon swatch. I mean, you could do one design, and I mean that in a positive way, because I know a lot of people were upset about the moon swatch, but I think it is what it is. And I think a lot of Cartier stuff is what it is at a certain level. But like, if you were to offer something interesting across a wide color spectrum, I think that there's always much more than just novelty in that. that, especially for people that get, bro, you're talking to a guy like,
Yeah.
I wear the same company shirt every time. It's not the same shirt.
Yeah.
But I found shirt. I'm 6'2", 255-ish pounds. When I find a t-shirt that I don't have to tailor because it's, because you met me, it's like, I'm not have a huge gut or anything. I'm not skinny, but I don't have a huge gut. It's like, this t-shirt fits me. I don't got to do anything about it. So I think there's people like that with watches, right? They're like, oh man, this watch is great. It's in red. And then all of a sudden they come out with 3 more colors. They're like, oh, I get 3 more colors, right?
Yeah, cool. I'm guilty. Going back to your comment about curating versus collecting, there are a couple watches I own multiple dial variants, which is not smart. So I am watching your channel, WatchRolling. In case you've just joined, my buddy Jason from WatchRolling. I've been learning a lot from his back catalog of episodes. Rick, I have never seen anyone do it. Gosh, so Cartier bringing the heat. I've never seen it. That doesn't mean it's not out there, but I have yet to see it, so I've not. Now I did this in Photoshop. This was a very easy one.
Jeez, that's so good, bro.
Looking at the dual time. This is the original. My buddy actually bought one of these. It wears big. It's hard to read. I'm gonna wait a couple years. Shout out Sandman. I'm going to wait a couple years till he gets tired of it, and then I'm going to buy it off of him for a discount. But my Photoshop of this model did not go that well. I had to use AI. So if they were to bring this out, okay, the green, I want it in green. I couldn't get that watch to turn up as a pretty shade of green. So I've got this awful shade of green. I would buy that watch in green. Or if they did an all black version, that would be cool. The gold one I wouldn't be able to afford. It'd be 30 grand.
Yeah, no, but that gold one, if they did like a bronze dial or a red dial, almost like a crimson, like Roman red, that'd be sweet. You like green, huh? Green's your jam?
Green's my jam. I got to start. Yeah. I have a Mustang Bullet. It's a 2008, and it's green, black, aluminum trim inside, and I'm fairly certain that's it's definitely the origin of my channel colors, this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's not green for green's sake. It's green because it's channel approved.
It's good.
So those are the predictions that were on my mind. Now, in getting ready for today's episode, Jason had a request. All right, WatchRolling.com reached out. And he made the following request to the Hobby of Hours staff.
Oh, so good, dude.
He's so upset with the banality of Rolex, which we're going to get to in a second. He wanted to do something funny. I was like, hey, do you want me to Photoshop anything for you for the show? He's like, well, let's do this. Give me a Rolex no-date model that has a bezel, a bullhead case, made from tantalum. We'll find out what that is in a minute. He wants a stone dial. I chose Sugarlight because purple is a purple stone, and purple is rumored to be the next blue, the next green. Yep. And he wanted a North American Treaty Organization style strap. We can't say NATO anymore because some dude in America patented it. Now, I didn't deliver on the NATO strap. You'll see why in a second. You can't really tell it's tantalum, but I'll explain tantalum in a minute.
Yeah, and I hope everyone understands this is satire. This is purely satirical.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to show you my source images. I have to say, minus the bullhead AliExpress base watch for this, that dial, purple haze all in my brain. Yeah. So tantalum is somewhat adjacent to titanium. Titanium is better, stronger, faster than tantalum. But you pulled that out of the air when you asked for tantalum. It's kind of a grayish metal, which is why it's kind of got some kinship with titanium, a little bit darker.
My wedding ring is made out of tantalum. Yeah, my wedding ring.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty. And as you get older, your fingers get bigger or whatever. So I wear it now for special occasions, but it's pretty nice metal. It's got that titanium, slightly darker.
Like gunmetal.
And I feel like the brushing on it. And I love gunmetal gray, bro. And I feel like any brushing on tantalum, it just shows up a little bit easier, and there's like a higher level of contrast. Like it's more obvious the brushing is there. But that's just minus.
Yeah, no, this was a bit of fun. It came together rather quickly. This is the original AliExpress. When I Googled trying to find bullhead watches that were not chronograph.
Yeah. You know my favorite thing about this is?
Yeah.
Is that you put in the one thing that to each their own, I would never yuck someone's yum, but for me, onion crowns. Onion crowns to me are like lima beans when I was a kid. Like I don't know what it is, man. There's something about an onion crown where I'm just like,
they're awful.
Right? And then
they're ugly.
When you saw it, when you showed it to me the first time, I was like, yes, it's a freaking onion crown, right? Like,
ugly. You know, they made it. Onion crowns became popular on Flieger watches, WW2, post W1.
Yes, it totally makes sense.
You need to be able to do it with a glove, right? But you're absolutely correct. Hamilton has a number of otherwise beautiful watches that have onion crowns that just kill it for me. So that's the first one.
I can't wait till we get to the reason why I did this, but I can't wait. I'm so excited.
So I got the bezel from this cat, Wildman Customs.
Mm-hmm.
He makes this watch, which is to say, I think it's one of those custom shops where the way they get around the Rolex nuisance is that you have to ship them your watch and then they'll modify it for you. He basically has a purple GMT hand, and then the bezel or the bezel insert is made in Italy somewheres. But check him out. This is, I didn't write to him. He doesn't know I'm featuring this. I think this is a beautiful watch. I just need to get that stone dial on there, and then we can do some business.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big purple guy, but I get it. I mean, the two most expensive dyes a long time ago were purple and green, so that's why you saw royalty.
I know. We can thank the Phoenicians for purple. They're the ones who could afford to dive down and get it for us. Nice. All right, let me see where we're at here. All right, that is the presentation. I'm going to take that off of screen, and we are now going to head to the second portion of the event. I have my notes, so I will be following along.
Yep, I got mine pulled up too.
Jason, sir, the stage is yours. I want to give you some spotlight. Oh, that's not spotlight. Where's the spotlight? There's a spotlight. Right, so take some spotlight.
People want a bigger version of my face. That's what they want.
Absolutely. I'm tired of looking at me.
So here we go. So a purple, why would I choose a purple bullhead, fancy metal, maybe integrated bracelet, et cetera, watch? And it's because I'm the kind of guy who, when I look up podcast topics or someone asks me to do a stream, I'm like, let's compile some data. Let me find some data. Let me cross-check some stuff. And let me take a look at what's happened before. So I went to the last, I think back to 2021 of what's been shown at Watches and Wonders that was AKA new, or something that was an improvement on before. And Darren's not on the screen because it's dealing with allergies, but he's listening. He can hear. All right. And so what I was able to do was I went to each, and shout out Hodinkee. I got to give Hodinkee credit because I went to their websites were the best, quick recap of what happened at Watches and Wonders for that year. And I figured I'll take a look at each year, and then I'll write down what they talked about, and then I'll cross-reference it against other years to see if there's a trend. And here's what I came up with.
Lay it down.
Trend number one. Heritage reinterpretation. So modern takes on the classics, right? And you'll hear, if you watch enough watch podcasts or listen to enough shows, you'll hear people that actually got a beef with this. There's people that have a beef when people are like, I can't believe they just took that watch and made a new version of it, right? And so in 22 and 23, there was the left-handed destro and the version of the black and green bezel, the GMT Master 2, right? So that's the funny thing, right? They do a funny crown placement, right? And they swap the movement over for crown placement. The Cartier tank, and it was, I think, 21 to 24. There's multiple iterations, including the tank Musk Revival and the tank Normale, or normal, and then reissues with vintage proportions, right? So they took them and made them back to the older, smaller sizes, which I think is fine. I think that's a good thing to do. I think that's probably I think when you basically just keep the watch is exactly the same as you can, but you're modernizing the movement and the material, I think that's the way to go. I think that's the best way to not insult your watch, your customer base, and give them a really good watch that's just upgraded. Then IWC did some big pilot in the Portuguese or stuff. They modernized these classics with in-house movements and more compact versions. And then AP did a Royal Oak 50th anniversary editions with movements and skeletonized designs. And then the second thing I noticed was material innovations, right? So new alloys, ceramics, or alternative metals. So Rolex did like Cerachrome bezels, RLX titanium. Omega did their ceramic cases in the titanium and the new Moonshine gold variants. And then AP did stuff with some black ceramic, skeletonized movements, and colored ceramic. And then Hublot, gotta love them.
I pronounce it
sapphire cases.
I pronounce it Hublot. Just
Hublot's where you go when it's getting close to payday and you need a new tire.
You need some new rims?
You need some new rims because you're going out on Friday night.
I want to defend Rolex's use of titanium, though, because I'm a titanium fiend.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But yeah.
No, let me state that I'm not saying these to be funny. I'm just saying I was really looking for a trend, right? Like looking for a pattern. And then so was some other stuff like smaller cases, wearability, so like compact luxury stuff. So Rolex did some stone dials in smaller sizes. Cartier did the Santos Dumont and stuff with some vintage inspired proportions and some ultra thin watches they did. And IWC did a more compact big pilot 43 millimeter, deviating from the 46 size. AP, they did the Royal Oak Jumbo extra thin, which is kind of an oxymoron, but I guess Jumbo it can be
extra thin.
I think you can be jumbo, like you could have a jumbo thin crust pizza, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's see, bolder colors and playful designs. This one kind of speaks for itself. They had the candy pink for Rolex. They did the pink, the green, yellow dials. Celebration bubble dial, which we showed earlier. Yeah. Santos, Dumont, Cartier, burgundy green, ice blue, Patek Philippe, Aquanaut, Nautilus. They did pastel blue, orange, khaki green dials, and then Hublot did some gemstone bezels and colorful ceramic cases. And then there was the whole, which I'm kind of a fan. I actually am a fan of, the integrated and sporty elegance. So there was, the Royal Oak did more focus on integrated bracelets and ceramic bracelets. Patek did their stuff with they discontinued the 5711, but replaced it with the 5811 in white gold. And then there was the Vacheron Constantine overseas. They did some titanium stuff and skeletonized versions to compete directly against Royal Oak and Nautilus.
Yeah.
And then Tudor did some more integrated bracelet versions and some slimmer cases. So at the end of the day, like what I noticed is like, I think a lot of times what we're being told is new isn't really new. Now there is literally a definition of new, but if our memories are so short and we live in this environment where, we only remember what we swiped on 3 seconds ago, right? Or the last 10-minute soundbite we got. I think it's easy for us as enthusiasts to look at something and say, oh, this is new this year, because we forgot what happened in 2022.
Yeah.
We forgot what happened in 2021, right? And I think that's okay, first of all. But I think when it comes to our money, especially when we're talking about the pieces at Watches and Wonders, which for a lot of us are inspirational goal-setting pieces, right? Like I don't know too many people that are going out and just like rolling up and buying a Nautilus on a whim.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so I think, and why do I say this? I lead all this to say the new hotness that's going to cost you MSRP may not necessarily be the new hotness if you understand the history of releases. And you could go find the new hotness in some pretty not so new hotness and save yourself, 50 cents on the dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
If you really understand. And to anyone that's watching, it doesn't mean that the newer movement's not better. It doesn't mean that, this isn't better or this isn't an improvement. But I would argue the reason I went and got an older Planet Ocean, the 2500 reference was, that was the first iteration of the coaxial escape, right?
Oh, right on.
So I wanted the original one. And then I would argue that anodized aluminum bezel insert beats anyone else's.
What was the color on that? Was that the orange or was that black insert?
I got the one with the orange numbers on the dial. There was the white numbers on the dial and the orange numbers on the dial. And then the bezel insert was like a black, I think it was kind of old. So it was like a blackish gunmetal gray at that point.
Yeah.
But, perfectly good watch. I had it for a couple of years. I loved it. I got to experience Omega so much that I ended up buying an SMP 300, the electric blue, the automatic version. that I sold towards something else, and then the Speedy Reduce, which I got from Chris at Pop and Crown. Shout out Chris, and I traded him a Vertex M100 for that. So, and a bunch of other stuff. But
first gen M100 Vertex.
Oh no, the M100A. So it's one of the newer ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got that. I got that pretty good price for it, and then I traded it, and because I knew I was going to get the AWWC one anyways, which I got. So
got it. Yeah,
I had some inside baseball intel.
Yeah, love some Vertex. Absolutely. That is.
Man, it's so clean.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's some amazing takeaways, amazing observations, and I happen to have a watch sitting behind me, so I grabbed it because I want to zoom in on one of your points. The Vacheron also crushed it last year. They had 3 rose gold models with green dials that just were. I mean, one was a chronograph, one was, I think, a calendar, and I think that was time only or something like it was. They were absolutely beautiful, and if I was of the means, I'd be getting a 222 from Vacheron as opposed to AP. I think I'm not a fan of AP. Speaking generally, I think they're a one-trick pony with their Royal Oak variances. Although I guess they're almost like Panerai in as much as they've got their one main case design, but until they brought out was it Code 11? It has pretty much. Oh, we got a watch buddy in here. What up, Chris?
Yeah. It's a great point, Chris.
Yeah. Shout out Negroni. If you've not checked out his channel is epic and awesome. Chris, we need more content. I know you're a busy family man. You got work, and I think you're going to school, unless I'm mistaken, but please release some content, brother. I am day and date on every one of your releases, my man. Love your stuff. Check out Chris's channel. But to that point, I want to share this with the audience. Bulgari has. Let me go switchy here for a second. Oh no, not that one. I want this one. Bulgari pre-Octo Finissimo, the Scuba Diagonal line is amazing. Now, you're not going to be able to tell that this is a blue dial. Come on, focus. But this is their navy. Oh, there we are.
There
this
you
is
go.
a navy dial. This is 38. They also make it in 41. Come on, focus. What are you doing? Don't do that, focus. Amazing. Guess the price point. This is an automatic movement. It is the black dial is chronometer grade. This is elaborate grade. Guess what these go for in the used
2,200.
Nope. Try again. Take $1,000 off of your guess.
Oh wow, $1,200.
That's what I paid for this one. It was a rarer blue one. The black ones, $9 and change. Like if you get it on strap, $700 or $800.
What's the movement?
ETA 20. It's not ETA 2824. It's the better version of the date ETA.
The bottom line is it's an ETA though.
Yeah.
Surfacing nothing. That's why I got this, bro. That's exactly why I got this pan. I got this pan, my first Panerai.
Yeah.
I got the PAM 0177 titanium, right? Because it's got that Unitas movement, which is basically a modified ETA 6847, right? So look at this. Those of you at home.
Yeah. Getting some, that's perfect. Hold right there. That's gorgeous.
Right?
Yeah. And
so when it comes time to serve, even though, it's the came service and everything, it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg to get it serviced. And I think most importantly, I try not to look at the servicing thing as much as I basically have a very reliable engine in this watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's fair.
It's fire and forget, bro. So I think that's important because that Bulgari is freaking sweet.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, this I feature this watch heavily in my Buy This Watch series where I kind of bird dog good looking listings. This is my Miami watch. If I ever go to Miami and I'm not rocking Doxa, shout out Jackie, I would probably take this. This is more of if I was going diving, I would wear my Doxa or snorkeling. Let's be honest, it'll be snorkeling. All right, okay. I'm gonna have a mask on. I'm gonna be in a pool. I don't like sharks. But if I was going on a yacht, if I got invited to a yacht party, like if Jackie and I are going on a yacht party sponsored by Doxa, well, if it's sponsored by Doxa, I would still have to wear Doxa. But if it was some random yacht dude invited me, I'm wearing this. This is my yacht watch. It has all of that brutalistic integrated bracelet styling. They also make rubber straps and leather. It's custom. It's you can't just put any strap on here. But love it.
It's
love
nice.
this watch.
I like it a lot.
And it's it's cost affordable. I don't think I got to Chris's
Here, you want me to show you
question at the bottom.
my Speedy Reserves? Oh yeah, good.
Yeah. Jumbo is the goal, but if they don't sell me one, what do you do?
Yeah.
I don't know, Chris. Chris, you got so much juice. I think you could get one out of them. You could absolutely get one out of them, bro.
But you know what I'd be interested in knowing though is, Chris, this is a question you can answer for us another time. But do you enjoy the hunt? Is the hunt more like if you were to find a good one from a reputable, dealer, independent dealer, and you were able to get the one that you really wanted at a good price without having to do all the runaround that,
I think Chris has sourced most of his watches from an AD as opposed to pre-owned, unless I'm mistaken. Chris, drop a comment in. But
just wondering.
That's I mean, who has time to run around, right? And I personally would never buy a gray market 2X model from someone like yes, I desire a Daytona one day, right? But I'm not going to pay 2X on the market. I'm going to keep pestering my ADs until I get one, or I'm okay with going without. Some folks are like, no, I don't want to wait 5 years. I want to live my life and enjoy my watch, right? Which
well, that makes sense.
That's
no,
fair.
and
that's fair.
There's a big thing there too, man, because time is literally the one thing you don't get back. So sometimes some people's time is worth more. Here, I'll show you my Speedy reduced.
Yeah, let me put you on spotlight. I want to see that. I want to see you reduced, dude. Oh, right on. I love Speedy reduced.
And I wear this thing every Friday. It's my Friday work watch.
Why did I think you said you were cutting down to 3 watches? Because
this one's going to get moved, right?
Oh, it is? Okay.
So this one I gave Chris the first right of refusal when I'm ready to sell it. And it's the only reason why is because I have my ID. I only need one chrono.
Ooh, I can't relate.
I know which one I want. And I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
I think if we're being honest. Yeah, see? So shout out Chris, because that's the way I look at it, right? Because I talked about this in one of my podcast episodes. You listen. For me, it's kind of like, okay, everyone's going down this road. I don't have a choice but to go down this road.
Yeah.
But on this road, there's a lane where if everyone has this Speedy, for example, then I know that's a good road to go down because I trust people go down that road. But I'll find the Speedy that's in this far right lane or this far left lane that, isn't as popular, but in its own way is cool and gets some respect from my fellow watch enthusiasts. Where they'll be like, oh yeah, that's why I got that AWWC Vertex, man. Because the M100 is cool. But I got the AWWC and it's number 4, bro. I got number 4, bro.
I gravitate the same way to unique variants within a design or design language. Do you want to say which chronograph you're going to hunt, or if you don't, you don't have to?
I will tell you
offline.
I will tell you that. No, I'm not going to tell anyone. No, I'll surprise you with it. I'll tell you
there's only 10 people watching. Don't worry.
Hey, listen, Chris's avatar is too nice. Yeah. If anyone's going to beat me to this watch, it's him. His avatar is so nice. It looks like he's drinking something, so the guy means business. Like
he's having a Negroni. That's what he's having.
He's working a YouTube channel while he's having a drink. That guy means business.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certain parts of his intro that has his watch inside the glass of the cocktail he's making. I don't let my watches go near the spigot when I'm cleaning dishes.
No, that's another good point, Chris. But it's kind of, I don't know, man. Like there's this fine line between, for me personally, if I met someone that worked at a brand and I just happen to have that brand relationship because of that, right? Mm-hmm. So there's guys, I've been around long enough now that I have some friends that own brands and stuff like that. But it was never about that. It was just they were always super down to earth and cool with me. And I mean cool with me when I had like just a blog. It wasn't, my blog's not even huge.
Yeah.
There's a certain level I've run across some people where it's almost like I'm paying honor to them. I have to in my discussions with them. And I joke about this a lot, but I mean it from a really serious place. It's like, bro, it's like I'm not sucking up to anyone just to get close to their brand. It's not happening.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm a 20-year Navy vet, bro. I've done some really cool stuff in my life, and I've been there, I've done that, I've proved myself to myself, and it's like, but then I've also met other people in big brands that are super cool and down to earth. Like the Doxa people were super cool and friendly. That's a big brand. So it's just weird. I think it's personal interactions and personal context. So.
Yeah,
but he's got a point, though.
Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
No, he just has a point where it's like the other half of him thinks F them. Why I want one if I can't get one from the brand? You know what I mean? Like, it's true. It's like, here's the thing. Like, I don't know Chris from Adam, but I guarantee you Chris has got a job. I guarantee you Chris works hard for his money.
Yeah.
And that his money, I would argue that, like, say that we're in the boat where we have to save up to get to a certain piece, right? Like, you really save because you're I would argue that money is more important than the money you get quick from the guy who's just buying your watch on a whim. That you're, if his saved money, that money, if he's done his due diligence on the watch before he gets it, is going to endear him more to that watch that he's going to hold on. And when he talks to his watch buddies, when he talks to his fellow watch fam, they're going to hear the excitement. We're going to be more apt to listen to him than some dude who just went in and got a two-tone whatever. High luxury Swiss brand on a Tuesday because
two-tone Tuesday.
Yeah. Now his boys are gonna, his boys or ladies or whatever that are in that same crowd will probably be like, oh, that's cool. But it's kind of like I said earlier about like the swipe right or 16-second reel mentality where you forget about it and it's long gone. Where the grind to get to that piece, having that piece, wearing that piece, I think there's something there for that. And I think the back of the industry is built on that much more than it is just whimsical purchases. That's just me, though.
I think that's some wisdom there, my man. Yeah, Chris. What's funny about I call it the Deuces watch is because it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I also want the steel, but there was a time not long ago when Analog Shift had a vintage steel, and a new. A modern gold version of the Deuces, and I think that gold one cruises at $65K list MSRP. They had it for like $83K ish, but the steel one from like 1979 or whenever it came out, it was like 130 for the steel version.
Oh wow!
Side by side, and then VC obviously come out and drops the new steel with that blue dial, which is fairly gorgeous. I would love to have it, but at $32K, I remember when the Deuces watches you could get them for 15, 18K pre-pandemic. Okay, that's fair. I was no more customer for it than I was now. I just discovered it and I found it neat. But that watch definitely count me in. So approaching the end of the stream, I want to put this back up onto stage. Shout out to the watch, my favorite heavy roller of the WatchRolling podcast. Jason, these are I grabbed some of his thumbnails from his channel. These are 4 episodes I binge watched this past week and a half. Absolutely love it. You will see a link to his channel in the description of this video, and God willing, many more collab videos to come. Brilliant observations today, sir. Tons of fun, and really glad to be on your watch buddy list, brother.
Same here.
Enjoying your friendship, my man. So I'd like to give the final word to the guest before we sign off. If you want to talk about anything, wrap anything up, if you want to promote anything. I know you have a lot of investment in veteran affairs stuff. We support our veterans. We support active and retired military, all service personnel, police, fire service, nurses, ambulance crews, dispatchers. Thank you all. Thank you one and all we could not have a civilized society without you guys. And thank you for your service. So take it away, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Darren. And so just for everyone who knows at home, if you've listened to my podcast for a while, I'm a big advocate of two groups. So the first one is the Anti-Watch Watch Club. The AWWC is a 501c3 charitable organization, and they use a drop style culture. So they do stuff like, T-shirts, sweatshirts, rash guards, stickers, all that stuff. And, it's cool themes, but 100% of the profits go to disabled veteran, military, first responder, all that stuff, charities. And they only take a little small amount of the money to put back into products they're going to sell, but everything goes to charity. They do not, no one in the group draws a salary or any of that stuff. So I invite you to check them out, antiwatchclub.org. And they're just a great group of guys. You can find them at Anti-Watch Watch Club on Instagram and all that stuff. So shout out to AWWC guys. They're who they did the collaboration with Vertex. They did them with Jack Mason. They've done a bunch of different collaborations, but great group of guys that support a great group of charities, and we can't have enough of that in the hobby. The second thing I want to talk about is the Veterans and Watchmakers Initiative. This is a school that teaches the art of watchmaking. And I want everyone that's listening or watching to know that this isn't the art of watch assembly. This is the art of watchmaking. So we're talking like from the ground up watchmaking, right? The school was started by Joseph Pibalova in the 1940s after World War II, and they were teaching disabled veterans the art of watchmaking. The school went on to like the 90s. It fell out of business. A gentleman named Sam Keenan helped reorganize it, bring it back to life. They've had multiple classes. They offer three things you can do. You got to show up and do a dexterity test first. They want to make sure that you're able to do it. Not everybody has the dexterity to do watches. If you're having trouble with stuff like disabilities, because there's a lot of disabled veterans, then they can do things to help you work around that. They're not going to automatically just shut you out, right? And then so if you pass that, then you get accepted in the watch technician course. The times always change, but it's about 6 weeks, and it's all the entry level stuff that you need to know as a watch technician. So as an entry level watchmaker, right? 6 weeks, and then if you graduate that class and they recommend you, then you can go to the watchmakers course, which is 16 months. If I remember the last time I looked at it, there was a 3-month internship. Excuse me, and it teaches the art of watchmaking. All of this is free to the veteran except for the room and board they'll pay, which comes out to about $1 a day. I think the last time I talked to them, it was $30. They basically have a little campus. They have the school building. They have some warehouses, and they have some basically dorm rooms and stuff across the street to where the students can live, and they'll be in this environment all the time. And if getting out to, it's in Odessa, Delaware, if getting out there is a problem, they can work with local veterans organizations to help you get out there to get the testing done. For those of you who don't know, I'm a co-founder of Red Bar Virginia Beach with my buddy Chris, Popping Crowns. Shout out Chris. One of our Red Bar members actually just took the dexterity test. Shout out Johnny. Johnny's a Navy veteran, and he took the dexterity test and passed it, and he's going to be in the watch technician course, the next one that gets brought up. When I tell you that this course, this school has the opportunity to change a veteran's life, I absolutely mean that from the bottom of my heart. I invite you to go back and look at my watchmakers, my Veterans Watchmakers Initiative interview series. There are people in there, Army, Marines, you name it, that their life, they didn't even know they wanted to be watchmakers. And then there's people that got hired by Tiffany's in New York right after they got out of school, right when they graduated. They started working for Tiffany's in New York, and basically got to the point now where they work close to home, walk back and forth every day, and are able to see their kids and stuff. I mean, it's just like, it's crazy, right? It's just crazy because I think a lot of times in the military, you think that I knew I did, that what am I going to do, right? And I joked with my buddy Chris today. I sent him a nice note where I said, I purposely have chosen to do something that I don't necessarily love because I love the organization I do it in, right? And that's for me is my way of coming to it. But if you could get out and actually go become a watchmaker, and that's something you love, then if you have any veterans in your family, I would highly recommend they look at it. Now, it's a time investment, 6 weeks, 16 months, time investment. But here's what I would offer. I read in the book once, you only maintain those things you hope to have in the future. So why not give this school a chance, and maintain something for yourself for the future you hope to have. And so I cannot recommend the Veterans Watchmakers enough. Just go check them out and then spread the word, right? Like they tip donations. If anyone knows watchmakers that have old equipment and stuff like that, they're more than willing to take donations. They're a charity, so you can get your charity paperwork and all that stuff. Veterans Watchmakers, and we can put their link in the show notes. But those are the two big things that I talk about all the time. Anti-Watch Watch Club, a bunch of guys doing stuff that they don't have to do, in the Veterans Watchmakers Initiative. Just an opportunity to change a veteran's life. And I really, really can't stress it enough. And like I said, I have an interview series on my channel. So
Cool.
That's really it. And like when it comes to my stuff, I don't plug my own stuff. If you want to come watch me, you do. If you don't, I understand. Your time is precious, which is why I try to keep my videos now like under 15 minutes. So,
well, I can always use more watch rolling, and amen. So do me a favor, after we hang up, send me those links. I'll drop them into the description in case anyone is interested in checking out those organizations. That's an absolutely beautiful thing, brother. I'm so glad we got to share that with some of the viewership. I want to say thank you to everyone who came along during the ride, adding the comments. Great to see you there. And anyone watching the future, welcome. Hobby of ours is Tuesdays and Fridays like clockwork, and every now and then we drop a live stream on a Sunday afternoon, and hoping to have Jason on more of these, because I love talking watches with you, brother.
Same here, man. I appreciate it, D.
Signing off. Hope that where you are in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours, you're doing well and that you are blessed. We will catch you in the next one. Peace, y'all. Have a great Sunday, everybody.
Good evening.